Oh man, let me tell you about this insane story I watched. It's this crazy, mind bending action thriller that had me hooked from start to finish. Picture this. It starts with a devastating moment. There's this guy, Sean, who's an FBI agent, super dedicated to his work, but one day, his entire life shatters. He's at a carousel with his young son, having this sweet father son moment. Out of nowhere, a sniper fires, aiming for Sean, but the bullet kills his little boy instead. Sean is broken, utterly consumed by grief, and that loss haunts him for years. Now, fast forward 6 years. Sean is still with the FBI, but he's channeled all his pain into one singular mission: catching Castor Troy, the psychopath who pulled the trigger that day. Castor isn't your average criminal. He's this charismatic, flamboyant terrorist with a penchant for destruction and chaos. He's the kind of guy who'll blow something up just to see the flames, grinning like a maniac the whole time. But Sean? He's relentless. He's spent years chasing this guy, and it finally seems like he's about to catch him. The story kicks into high gear when Sean gets a tip about Castor's next big plan. Apparently, Castor has planted a massive bomb somewhere in Los Angeles, capable of wiping out thousands of people. Sean and his team corner Castor at an airfield in a nail-biting shootout. There are bullets flying everywhere, explosions, and just when you think it's over, Castor tries to escape in a private jet. Sean intercepts it in the most badass way imaginable, and there's this intense hand-to-hand fight that ends with Castor being knocked unconscious and left in a coma. Here's where things get wild. They capture Castor's brother, Pollux, who's a genius, but also weirdly loyal to his insane sibling. He's the only one who knows the bomb's location, but he refuses to talk. Desperate, the FBI comes up with a secretive, highly experimental procedure. They propose that Sean undergo a face transplant. Yeah, you heard that right. They want to surgically remove Castor Troy's face and put it on Sean, so he can impersonate Castor and trick Pollux into spilling the beans about the bomb. At first, Sean is horrified by the idea. It's invasive, dangerous, and just plain terrifying. But the stakes are too high. Thousands of lives are on the line, and Sean's sense of duty outweighs his fear, so he agrees. What follows is this eerie, suspenseful surgery scene where Sean's face is literally swapped with Castor's. The attention to detail is insane. They even modify his voice, mannerisms, and body language to make him indistinguishable from the real Castor. When Sean looks in the mirror afterward, it's chilling. He's staring at the face of the man who murdered his son. The psychological weight of that moment is enormous. Sean, now looking like Castor, is sent to a high-security prison where Pollux is being held. The prison itself is a nightmare, isolated, high-tech, with guards who don't hold back on brutality. Sean has to play the part of Castor flawlessly, which means adopting his swaggering confidence and ruthless demeanor. It's no easy feat, especially when Pollux starts testing him, but Sean manages to earn his trust. Eventually, Pollux lets slip the location of the bomb. It seems like the mission is a success, and Sean is ready to get his old face back and move on with his life. But here's the kicker. Castor wakes up from his coma, and when he does, he's furious. The guy is a criminal mastermind, and he quickly pieces together what's happened. In a horrifying twist, he forces the surgeons to transplant Sean's face onto him. Now Castor is walking around as Sean Archer, infiltrating his life, his job, even his family. It's twisted beyond belief. Castor thrives in Sean's world, using his position of power to manipulate everything and everyone. He charms Sean's wife and daughter, pretends to be a hero at the FBI, and even starts eliminating anyone who knows about the face swap. Meanwhile, Sean is stuck in prison, trapped in Castor's body, and no one believes his story. He's pushed to his absolute limits, but he's resourceful and determined. In one of the most thrilling sequences, he orchestrates an escape that involves a riot, sheer cunning, and a death-defying leap from a massive tower into the ocean. Once he's free, his mission is clear. He needs to stop Castor and reclaim his life. What follows is this high-octane cat-and-mouse game between the two of them. It's a battle of wits, strength, and sheer willpower, with both men exploiting their new identities to gain the upper hand. Sean, still in Castor's face, teams up with Castor's criminal associates, gathering intel and biding his time. There's this underlying tension as Sean struggles to stay true to himself while using Castor's persona as a weapon. The emotional stakes escalate as Sean's family gets pulled deeper into the conflict. Castor, posing as Sean, manipulates Sean's wife, Eve, who's a doctor and utterly oblivious to the switch. Sean manages to convince her of the truth in this heart-wrenching scene where he reveals intimate details only her real husband would know. The horror and disbelief on her face are gut-wrenching, but eventually she realizes he's telling the truth. The final showdown is nothing short of epic. It takes place on a speedboat in the middle of a high-speed chase, with the two men going all out. The fight is brutal and visceral, with every punch and kick carrying the weight of their personal vendettas. Just when it seems like one of them has the upper hand, the tides turn again. It's edge-of-your-seat stuff. In the end, Sean manages to kill Castor in a harrowing, cathartic moment. It's not just about survival. It's about reclaiming his identity, his family, and his life. The FBI clears everything up, and Sean undergoes another surgery to restore his original face. When he finally comes home, there's this poignant scene where he reunites with his wife and daughter. They've all been through hell, but they're finally together again. And here's the cherry on top. Sean adopts the young son of one of Castor's associates, giving the boy a new home and a second chance. It's his way of finding closure for the loss of his own son and breaking the cycle of violence. So, yeah, this movie is an absolute roller coaster of action, emotion, and psychological intensity. And the title? It's Face Off. Honestly, it's one of the most inventive, thrilling movies I've ever seen. The concept alone is mind-blowing, but the execution, especially the performances by the two leads, is what makes it unforgettable. It's a masterclass in suspense and storytelling. You've got to watch it.